guys, my name is Jay and I'm a makeup artist. I've come over from Instagram and I thought I'd give YouTube a go. So starting off nice and easy, and we're doing a soft glam look that I've recorded for you today. So if you stay tuned, I'll show you kind of all my tips and tricks for how I do a glowy girls' night out soft glam look. So I've done my eyebrows and my eye base off camera. We'll just get straight into the eyeshadow. If you do want a eyebrow tutorial, let me know in the comments and I can do one for you soon. So what I'm going to use today is my favourite palette of all time. I literally think I use this palette for every single look I do, so I should probably get another one. It's the Carnival XL Pro palette by Be Perfect Cosmetics and Stacey Marie. I just love it so much. Like, there's just so many things you can do with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with my smallest brush. So this is a Peaches and Cream PC07 brush, and I'm going to go in with my darkest shade first. So I'm going to go in with this shade Hall. I just love this palette because the colours just blend out so nicely, yet they're so pigmented at the same time. So I'm going to go in with this colour first. I think I'm going to make it quite rounded today. So I'm going to go at the top of my eye first. And just follow the shape of my eye. Just creating that first shape for the rest of my blends to follow. Look, so what I like to do is kind of lift my face up, see exactly if I can still see that first original colour, because I do have quite hooded eyes, so I like to just make sure I can still see that shape if I'm looking straight on. So I'm such a catfish on my Instagram when I do multiple cut creases, because really I've got hooded eyes and you can't even see the art that I've done. So next I'm going in with a PC38 brush. So this is a small brush still, but it's just slightly fluffier. What I'm doing is going in with the shade Hall, and then I'm going to go 50% on, 50% off. And I think working with smaller brushes and then building your way up to bigger brushes as you go up the eye makes everything so much more neater. When I use a bigger brush, it is just that lack of control with where you put in the colour. So I'm blending the colour underneath and then placing this new colour at the same time. So this is a Zoeva fluffy brush, the eye blender brush. Yeah, it looks like this. And then we're going to go in with the shade Basic, which is just that tan brown. And again, we're going 50% on, 50% off. With the edges, it doesn't necessarily matter as much if you're a little bit messier with this shade, because it's the third blend. It's going to get blended out into the skin as well. So I do find browns actually the hardest to blend, because they're basically all the same colour. So I've got my 3 shades on. What I want to do now is take an even fluffier brush. So this is the Look Defined Crease brush from Zoeva. And what I'm going to do is just blend out those edges. So you can see already it's softening up. So I like to use the bigger Zoeva brush firstly, the more dense one, just to get that colour on, and then I use a soft brush just to get the edges really blended in. So I'm going to take a little bit more of that colour just on this brush and just really blending that into the skin. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way back down to bring those colours back. So I'm going in with the second brush again and my second colour, and I'm just bringing those colours back in, because they do get lost when you're going in with other colours, and you want the colours and the shades to be the same colour that they are in the palette, otherwise I've bought a palette. So you've got to remember to bring those shades back in. So you can see the edge is still quite harsh, so I'm just packing that colour back on, but then going back up the brushes. So really blending out the edges. And at this point you can kind of use whatever product's still on your brush, if you're happy with the colours. I've done with the eyeshadow. Next, I'm going to keep it quite soft, so I'm not going to cut the crease. I'm just going to go in with the pigment on top. So I'm going to get a fluffy kind of flat brush. I don't even know what brand is this? Royal and Langnickel, a small shader brush. These are probably, I think these are like the first brushes I got from Asda. It was like a pack that my mum got me. And she still got the same brush as well, and that was literally like 5 years ago. But if they work, just keep using them. So I'm using the Dynamite pigment from Peaches and Cream, and I'm basically just going to pack that where I want it to be. So it's going to be just kind of almost covering that first dark shade, but just so we can see it creeping out. So just patting that in place. And because I want that kind of blended effect, I am kind of lightly rubbing the brush. So that was breaking. Yeah, so I'm gently packing that on, and I'm not, because it is a soft glam, I don't want those harsh lines, so it is okay if the pigment is kind of spreading out over the eye. Then I'm just going to clean it up with the face wipe. There we go. So I'm going to go in with a brown liner as well for my waterline. Actually, you know what? No, I'm going to go with brown. I'm going to go in with copper, because then it'll match my the pigment on top. So I'm going to go in with bronze, golden bronze from NYX. I'm just going to put that on my waterline. Then I'm going to go in with the P. Louise base that I've still got left on my hand, and just put that underneath. So just patting that on, and then getting a fluffy brush as well, just to blend out the edges. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'll do the other eye, and then we'll do. I've just done my other eye, and I've put mascara and lashes on. I've used the Molly cosmetic lashes, which I actually got sent in a PR box from Kate, who owns Molly Cosmetics, and don't think I've been as buzzing in my life to get something. It's the first kind of PR thing I've got, and it was so exciting. Yeah, she just messaged me saying that she wanted me to send me some bits, and I was so happy when I got it. So these are the 3D foam ink lashes, and they're kind of perfect for this soft glam look, because they're just so like delicate, and they're not overwhelming, so you can properly see like all the eyeshadow as well. Sometimes I do like a big lash, but then at the same time it does cover up a lot of kind of the artwork if you're covering up with a lash. But I really like these lashes with this look. My skin now, so I've already put moisturiser on before I started, but I'm going to go in with the Fit Me foundation. This is such a good affordable foundation. Literally, if you can see, that and the Superstay one are the only two I have at the minute. I am building up my kit for when I do lessons and see clients again after lockdown, but I think I'll probably just stock all this because it's just such a nice wearable foundation. It's full coverage. if you build it up, so you can have kind of a small layer or a thin layer and just leave it as it is once you put it on, or you can build it up similar to the Studio Fix foundation. So it's a good dupe for that. And I'm literally just patting that into the skin. I always think that you have to trust the process when you're doing your eyeshadow. It's easier with a soft look like this. It doesn't look as scary, but a lot of the time when I'm doing my kind of colourful cut creases, I'll think they'll look crap until I've done my whole skin and I'll be like, oh, this is where I was going with it. So just patting that in and blending it down the neck as well. So when I've got all that foundation patted in, I do get a smaller fluffy brush. This is an eye brush, but literally just use what you've got, and you can, makeup has no rules, and neither do brushes. You can use the brushes for whatever you want to use them for. So I just like to use a fluffy eye brush. This would probably be too big for my eyes anyway, and I do like those smaller brushes, so I just like to go in with a small fluffy brush, or big fluffy eye brush, just to kind of blend in the edges around the eyebrow, because I'm not delicate enough to go in with this all over my face. So I did used to use the Lasting Perfection collection one all the time, but I love this one now, the Infallible L'Oreal Paris Infallible Concealer. It's apparently it's just a dupe for the Tarte one. I do want to try the Tarte one, but it's from America, isn't it? I don't think you can get it in the UK. And I don't have the money to be ordering things from America right now. So I'm just placing that in all the areas I want to kind of highlight a bit more. A little bit does go a long way as well. I'm getting to the end of this one, but it just really spreads out, and it's quite thick as well, so it's full coverage. So if you were wanting kind of more bridal glam, or to make this even softer, the collection one would be a bit better, but I want that heavy coverage. Buffing that out with a Real Techniques, a fluffy brush. So again, I'm just pressing it into the skin like I did with the foundation. And then, because this is too big to go kind of close to my eye, I get a flat fluffy brush again, and just same patting motion, but because it's smaller, it lets me get kind of closer to that eye. If there's any looks you want for the next video, let me know in the comments, guys. I think I will do something kind of more colourful and technical, just because that is my favourite style to do, really. Like, I love this on myself and on clients, but I feel like for a tutorial, or for YouTube, it's going to be good for me to kind of alternate between the soft glam and the technical stuff. So I've gone in with those two brushes just to get kind of the concealer patted in, and then what I'm doing is I'm going back in with my foundation buffer brush just to blend them together, because you don't want kind of these harsh white lines and harsh white spaces. And it will blend in more together when I've got my bronzer, my highlight, my blush on. But this just helps just to kind of start to get it all blended in together. So just patting all over that again. So now I'm going to go in with a little bit of contour. So this is my favourite at the minute, the Makeup Revolution foundation stick, but in F13. So it is a foundation stick, but I like to just use a little bit for cream contour. This is another thing that's also changed my life in terms of doing my own makeup and even clients' makeup, is I never used cream contour because I was a bit scared of it, just because my skin doesn't really, because it used to be quite dry. I used to be scared that it would stick and I wouldn't be able to blend it in right. But now I just think it adds a lot more depth and dimension to your face. And it's more defined as well. So I'm going in again with my PC19, which is just my favourite brush ever for face. Just blending it all in again. Basically smudging it all into one another. Next I'm going to go in with my powder just to set the concealer. So I'm using the Rimmel Stay Matte Powder, translucent one, and just patting that in all the areas that I've highlighted. And I'm kind of taking the excess just all over the face. So I'm going in with dark tan from MAC and a angled Zoeva cheek brush. And again, just patting that on. Basically just putting that on all the places I put the cream contour. And then I'm just going to put it around the nose, contour the nose slightly, down the edges. Again, back in with my best friend. Then I'm going to go in with a little bit of blusher. I never used to wear blusher. I don't know why, I just thought I never want like red cheeks. When, I don't know, I just never really wanted, I always just associate it with, I don't know, being embarrassed, so I never wanted it on. But I really like it now, just to add a little bit more colour really. My foundation brush, just blending it all together. Now it's time for my favourite bit, which I don't think it will always be my favourite bit, putting the highlighter on. So I literally got this probably over a year ago and it's just lasted ages because a little bit just goes such a long way. So it's the Doll Beauty Duo Light highlighter, and I like to mix the two shades together. So I'm using another Peaches and Cream brush, the PC17. I'm just going in circular motions on the highest points of my face. Oh, it's just the best bit ever. It just reminds me of that summer glow. So I do get a smaller brush as well, just to brighten up kind of that highest point. And then just blend out those edges. Going in as well on the nose. Bridge of the nose. I like to put a little bit just above my eyebrow. It's basically just all those highest points where the sun would catch. And then again, going in with the foundation brush again, just to kind of soften it out a bit. Because although I want it to be obvious on my highlighter, I want it to be blended in. I'm going to take a pencil brush as well and just put the lighter shade just on the inner corner. And I think I'm actually going to go in with my little MAC Nylon single eyeshadow and just add a little bit of that as well. So I'm going to go in with Hotline, so it's like a dark brown lip pencil. So guys, my camera cut off, but all I did lastly was put on some matte lipstick from Primark in the shade Toast, so just like a soft pink nude, and then a little bit of gloss on top. So this is the finished look. Let me know what you want in the comments for my next look. I think I'm going to do something kind of like a technical cut crease, so then you guys can learn a little bit more about how to do something a little bit more complex. But yeah, this is a nice easy start off. Thanks for watching. If you hit like and subscribe, and then my Instagram and my TikTok links are in the bio as well. Okay, bye.